So tonight, Donald Trump has a big opportunity. It'll be something of a closing argument for this convention, and he hopes to end the event on a very positive note. Who wouldn't, right? So the week has unfolded in some ways, it's had ups and downs like most conventions do, but Trump is focusing on the bright side here, tweeting, quote, "Good news is Melania's speech got more publicity than any in the history of politics, especially if you believe that all press is good press." So Donald Trump putting a positive spin on all of that. And it really was not a negative for Melania, because everybody was very positive about her and about her speech and her introduction to the country, really. So Tony Sayegh is here, Fox News contributor. Guy Benson, political editor for townhall.com and a Fox News contributor. Guys, great to see you.
Great to see you, Martha.
Welcome.
Hi, Martha.
So, Tony, let me start with you. What does he have to do tonight?
He has three mandates, in my opinion. He clearly has been set up to give a great address by the speeches his kids have given up until tonight, humanizing him, telling a bit of Donald Trump, the man, the father, the friend. He needs to talk personally about the journey he's had politically. He's coming to this convention, Martha, having received more votes than any other Republican candidate in history.
But I don't think he'll mention that. He's very humble.
And he has to be a little humble, I agree. But he's created a movement. He has to talk about those personal stories he's met along the way, number one. Number two, be positive, be humble, be gracious, in contrast to Ted Cruz last night, who many believe acted, frankly, without a bit of class, and certainly, in my opinion, disgraceful. And number three, he could talk thematically. He talks about making America great again, but talk about how his policies make America great again. Specifics a little bit, not too deep, but certainly a little bit more than just the thematics, of course, law and order, and putting America first as well.
Okay.
It's been an interesting convention, right? On Monday, there was that ugly floor fight. On Tuesday, it was dominated by the plagiarism flap. And then yesterday, a primetime speaker was booed off the stage. This is very unusual stuff.
I think number three is the only one anyone will remember, though, don't you?
No, very memorable. Donald Trump cannot erase any of that with what he says tonight, but he can turn the page. And I think part of what he needs to do strategically, I agree partially, Tony, with what you said. Look at his weaknesses in the polling. People don't particularly like him. His favorables are bad. And there's a lot of people who don't believe he's qualified or prepared for this job. He has a huge platform tonight, bigger than any other, except for maybe the debates, to convince people, hey, I'm a little bit more self-deprecating and gracious than you might think, and I am ready for this job, and here's why. That's the task for him.
Yeah. He's got a podium that, it's black with some gold edge on it, and the presidential flags behind. So, he's kind of melding the two worlds of Donald Trump, the corporate side of Donald Trump, a CEO for the nation, so to speak, and then, the patriot, which is what he feels very strongly about. But in terms of policy, that's what he always gets hit on. What's he going to do? How is he going to make America great again? People have to walk away from this, Tony, thinking, oh, I get it. Now I see what his plan is. I see what he wants to do.
Donald Trump has taken positions, Martha, that have contradicted Republican orthodoxy in many respects. And the reason it's been working for him is because so many Americans feel that the system has failed them. Right. So he has a chance to almost redefine what it is to represent the Republican Party, to work for the middle class, to work for the hardworking American whose wages have not gone up. I thought Eric Trump last night did a great job connecting with the single mother with a special needs child, that hardworking teacher who's going through metal detectors that's failing schools because government has failed these institutions. He's been set up so nicely.
He punctuated each one of those by saying, my father is running for you.
For you.
My father is running for you.
And that populist message combined with what Mike Pence brought, which is a really strong articulation of conservative principles, I think is a winning formula. But Donald Trump has to be the one who convinces people, to Guy's point, that he can do it. He can be that man to lead.
He gets the common man. I mean, which is extraordinary, given his wealth. He flew in here yesterday on his own jet right over our heads and then hopped over on his helicopter. But he gets the common man, Guy, and that's the secret to what's gotten him here, don't you think?
Yeah, I think his son, Donald Jr., was able to articulate and explain that well in his speech the other night, saying, yes, my father's a billionaire and has been very, very successful, but he hasn't cloistered himself off in a boardroom or an executive suite. He's been out on job sites connecting with people. I think that was one of the more effective lines that he offered in that speech. The other point I would make, Pence last night did his job. Mike Pence is an unknown to most people who aren't sort of political animals. The Democrats are trying to define him as this wild-eyed extremist, which is ludicrous, and he came out and totally laid waste to that in his speech. He was likable. He made a good case for Trump. Now the task turns, the spotlight's on Donald Trump, and the key word is plausibility. People have all sorts of feelings about Donald Trump. Is he plausible as President of the United States? That is the hill that he needs to climb and surmount tonight.
Got to build that bridge in people's minds with this speech so they can see him in the office. And it's going to be fascinating to watch. Tony,
absolutely.
Guy, thank you.
Thank you.
Always
Thanks,
good to see you
Martha.
both. I know it's hot out here.
It is.
For wearing your
It's hot in Cleveland.
You could have worn shorts. Now she tells me.